The Indiana Fever just played the WNBA back-to-back champions in back-to-back games, and we got to see the Rookie of the Year against the MVP. And while the first game was the worst basketball game I've ever seen in my life, the second game lived up to all the hype. Aja Wilson made history, breaking the WNBA scoring record for most points in a single season, and then Caitlin Clark also made history, breaking a crazy WNBA record too. This game wasn't going to be easy for the Fever, and yet this was still a great competitive game. Let's talk about it. First blood is drawn by the red. Boston hands it off to Clark, who immediately draws the attention of two Aces defenders. Watch how she retreats to half court to drag the double team into deep waters, giving her team a numerical advantage. She then finds Boston, who stops and pops from the foul line and gets the friendly bounce on the jumper over Wilson. We've got a USC matchup in the front court, and the former Gamecock answers right back. This time Kelsey Plum, the smallest player on the court, sets a cross screen. Kelsey Mitchell doesn't jam, allowing Wilson to come round. Chelsea Gray finds her inside and she scores with an easy layup. And then again, Chelsea Gray and Wilson pick and roll. Boston camping in drop coverage, ends up too far away from Wilson, rushes out to the closeout, but Wilson puts the ball on the floor full head of steam downhill, and there's just no stopping her when she gets going. There's also no stopping the Clark and Boston two-man game. Watch how Clark here fakes the shot, gets the defender up off her feet, swings it into Boston, who drops it in on the pull-up jumper from close range. Chelsea Gray right here, guarded by Clark, drives into a sea of bodies, and with four Fever players trying to stop the pass into Aja, she turns it over. Smith ends up with it, looks for Clark, who right away bounces ahead to Mitchell, and nobody's catching her on the fast break as the Fever take the lead. And then again it's Mitchell one-on-one with Plum. Kelsey v Kelsey, takes her off the dribble, turns the corner, and even with the league's leading shot blocker at full stretch, Mitchell gets it up over Wilson and then off the glass. What a great play from Kelsey Mitchell. But what makes the Aces so hard to beat is the amount of talent they have on the floor. Jackie Young gets in on the action here on the drive, drops the shoulder to push and create separation from Clark, and then hits the mid-range jumper over her. But the Fever have an answer to everything, and that answer is Kelsey Mitchell. Watch the dribble handoff with Nalissa Smith. She sees Aja Wilson in drop coverage and just launches from the top of the key and sinks it. She's up to 7 points already. Poor defensive communication from the Fever here allows Young to just go inside, draw the help defense from Boston, giving Wilson an open set shot in the mid-range, which is always going to end in a basket. Again, poor transition defense from the Fever. Caitlin Clark in no man's land decides to help Aliyah Boston on the ball handler, completely loses track of her assignment, leaving Kelsey Plum, one of the WNBA's best shooters, wide open, and eventually she takes and makes the free ball. Jackie Young is considered one of the best wings in the WNBA, and this is exactly why. She combines guard and forward skills. Watch her pump and go, put the moves on Mitchell, get to her spot and rise up for a close range jumper. Kelsey Plum right here showing why she was the NCAA's all-time leading scorer before Clark went and broke her record. From the inbound, watch her take what the defense gives her. Erica Wheeler shows her right, so Plum goes right, blows by her and scoops it in off the glass and in, and that's a 9-0 run for the Aces. Finally, the Fever, after 4 scoreless minutes, get something to go. Nalissa Smith, former number 2 pick, aggressively just muscles her way into the paint and puts it in from close range. First quarter ends 19-13, Aces lead by 6. And the Fever had to rely on their depth to get back in this game. It's whoever offense on Alicia Gray right now. Dantas, top of the key, dumps it into Fag Benley, who from deep post position just uses her physicality to get the ball into the hoop by any means necessary. And then the next play, Temi returns the favour, bounces it down low to Dantas, who hits a crazy one-legged fadeaway bank shot out of the post, and then again tells the Aces to respect her range and drains a free at the top of the key, looking like Dantas Nowitzki, and that's another assist for Caitlin Clark right there. Watch the movement off the ball in this offensive sequence from the Aces. Watch Plum from the down screen curl uphill to the perimeter. Erica Wheeler falls asleep, runs straight into an Aja Wilson brick wall screen in an attempt to contest, but it's too late and Kelsey Plum punishes her from the perimeter. Dantas is the hot hand for the Fever right now, so Clark continues to feed her, but the pass is deflected by Hayes. Aja ends up with the ball, tries to start the break with Plum and turns it right back over, throwing it straight to Kelsey Mitchell, who just weaves her way inside the Aces back line and smoothly lays it in on the finger roll. Caitlin Clark is just not locked in defensively. She's face guarding Chelsea Gray at half court, completely unaware of her surroundings, and allows Chelsea Gray to cut all the way to the basket, beat her to the rim and score. I don't care what anyone says, Chelsea Gray shouldn't be winning any kind of foot race with Caitlin Clark. But it's not just her. Indiana's transition defense is absolutely non-existent. Nobody knows where to be or who to pick up. Two players take Aja, nobody takes the ball handler, Wheeler steps up on Gray, and they give up a wide open Gustafson free ball as a result of some terrible defense. The offense isn't much better either, it's really just give it to Kelsey Mitchell and pray. Wheeler bricks the free ball, long rebound, Hemi pokes it to Dantas, who kicks it to Mitchell in the corner. She sees Gustafson rushing out to contest, reloads, fires, and sinks it to cut the lead to 5. In this first half, it's Kelsey Mitchell versus the world. Here she is again. Caitlin inbounds to Mitchell. She absolutely smokes Plum for speed on the blow-by, is met by several Aces defenders helping inside, but somehow manages to flip it up and in without getting blocked, and it's a 3-point game. Kelsey Mitchell carrying the Fever right now. But even Lexi Hull is slacking defensively. She's camping at the elbow when she should be up on the perimeter ready to go over Aja Wilson's down screen. She's way too late to get over, and that just allows Chelsea Gray to get inside and lay it in with little resistance. The Aces ball movement and chemistry is on point. That's why you need to be switched on defensively. Gray pick and roll with Wilson, slips it to her through the pocket, but instead of cashing in on the foul line jumper, kicks it out to Plum, who makes the extra pass to Jackie Young, who drills the corner free ball. Unselfish basketball from the Aces. I don't know where the Fever would be in this game without Mitchell. Clark bringing the ball up the floor, has her eyes on one person only. Early pass to Mitchell, nobody picks her up on the perimeter, and she gets another one to go. She scored 16 of the Fever's first half points, and that assist right there from Caitlin Clark was historic. She set the WNBA all-time single season record for assists with 318. No player has ever assisted more baskets in a season than a rookie Caitlin Clark. Let that sink in, because that is not normal, not for a rookie, not for anyone. Some would say it's just as impressive as Aja Wilson's scoring record, which she adds to right here down low on the pass from Plum. Too easy for the Aces. Another poor defensive sequence from the Fever here. Kelsey Plum cuts from the perimeter, Mitchell follows, and for some reason Nalissa Smith steps into the paint to help. Chelsea Gray sees this and instead dishes it out to the corner, and Aliyah Clark hits on the catch and shoot triple. And you already know what's coming next. Kelsey versus Kelsey. Mitchell, ball on the floor, dancing, sidestep triple from the corner is good, and she hits another one. Mitchell is absolutely unconscious in this first half, up to 19 points, and here she is again. Mitchell coming round the screen, jacks up another, but Aja Wilson gets a piece of it, runs the floor and scores the final bucket of the half, turning defense into offense, and that play right there is a great example of why she's the soon-to-be MVP and also Defensive Player of the Year this season. The first half ends and Vegas lead by 8, both Kelseys combining for 29 points, but the biggest story was Caitlin Clark 0 points at halftime. That's just unacceptable whatever way you slice it, but the scary news for the Aces was the fact that this game was still close, with Caitlin Clark having one of her worst first half performances. And things got real serious when she stepped it up in the second half. First play of the third, Jackie Young, whose entire objective this game was to slow down Caitlin Clark, finally gets to showcase some more of her offensive skill set with a nice pull-up jumper from the elbow. More slow defensive awareness from the Fever. Look how long Chelsea Gray's left open in the corner. Not a single Fever player thinks it's a good idea to pick her up. 3 passes are made in that time before anybody even notices her, and that's as easy a look as she's gonna see all night. The Fever go down 13 points, and it's getting ugly. Time for some much needed offense. When in doubt, give it to Aliyah Boston. She sinks the mid-range jumper here, and then again, 2-man game with Clark, splits the double team with the pocket pass, and this time Boston gets a friendly roll on her shot, making it back-to-back mid-range jumpers and a quick 4 points for her. We talked about Caitlin Clark's great passing, but another all-time great passer is Chelsea Gray. The Fever are slow to react here on the flare screen, and look at Gray. No look behind the back, bounce pass, splitting the Fever defense in two, and watch the composure from Jackie Young. She fakes, Nalissa bites, fouls, and she has the composure to score through contact and get the and one. But what a dime that was from the three-time champion Chelsea Gray. I can't believe it took until half. But finally, Caitlin Clark hits her first free ball, screen from Boston going left, and even when she's cold, you don't let her have that shot because she's gonna make it. Who you also can't let get hot is Chelsea Gray, because Caitlin Clark's caught ball watching again, helping for absolutely no reason, leaving her assignment wide open at the top of the key. Young makes the swing pass to Gray, who puts the Aces back up double digits. But at least what Caitlin gives up on defense, she's starting to give back on offense. One-on-one with Young, one of the W's best on-ball defenders. Clark gets her on her hip on the drive, stops, pops in the mid-range, trying to draw the foul, doesn't get it but does hit the shot. And this time she's actually focused on defense. Clark anticipates the kick out to the right corner in the passing lanes, gets the interception, comes the other way, and with the Defensive Player of the Year trailing, Clark is composed enough to be unfazed and reverses it in nicely. Another player who won't shy away from Aja Wilson is Aliyah, two former USC champions and #1 picks down low. Aliyah getting physical, turns over her left shoulder and finishes strong, and just like that the Fever are on a run now. Caitlin Clark turning on the jets, comes round the screen, drives inside and banks it in off the glass, and just like that it's a 4-point game. The Fever have strung a series of stops together defensively and have made up some serious ground. They need to close out strong here. Coulson isos with Clark, attacks, crosses, and at the end of the shot clock nobody picks up Tiffany Hayes on the backdoor cut across the baseline, and she scores. But Caitlin Clark is on a different level right now, looks to drive right again, goes behind the back, stops on the drive, hand in her face, unfazed, drains a step back 3-pointer, and she's on fire now. The first half she went scoreless, and she's just turned up and dropped 14 points in the third to bring the Fever back into this game. Final play of the quarter, Chelsea Gray one-on-one with Caitlin, gets to her spot from the elbow and rises up to hit a tough jumper with a hand in her face to put the Aces up 3. End of the quarter, it's a 3-point game going into the fourth, and the Fever have brought this one back from as many as down 13. This game could go either way, and it's gonna come down to what team wants it more and who can make big plays in crunch time. The final period starts and the Fever get just what they're looking for. Wheeler pick and roll with Temi, skips a pass and finds Dantas top of the key from 3, and she knocks it down to tie the game at 60 points each. What a performance from Dantas, stepping up and giving some real production off the bench. Plum right here penetrates the hole, kicks out to Aliyah Clark, she does one more to Gray, fakes the 3 and then on the drive, fakes the behind the back pass Rondo style, gets to the cup and lays it in. And then again it's the Aces. Fagbenley isn't close enough to Plum in the corner, she's jabbing, sees Fagbenley sagging and just launches a 3 over the taller defender and connects to put the Aces up 5. Aja Wilson matched up with Boston, draws the triple team, swings the pass to Young, now Gray from the corner with Clark, steps back on the drive and hits another mid-range jumper, this time off balance. The Fever have finally realised that with 4 Olympians on the floor, they cannot send multiple defenders to guard Wilson, which suddenly allows her to dominate inside like she always does. She fights through the cross screen to get deep position on the block with Boston. Chelsea Gray slips the bounce pass into Wilson, finally has the opportunity to go one-on-one and makes the most of it, hitting a difficult shot facing up. Clark at the line goes 2 for 2, then on the other end Aja Wilson at the line misses the first and splits the free throws, making it a 4-point game with 2 minutes 30 to go. Caitlin Clark pick and roll with Boston, the Aces decide to blitz Clark. Aliyah pops out to the perimeter, steps in and sinks another long 2, and when she's spreading the floor and hitting that jumper, the Fever's offense becomes unguardable. But Indiana cannot stop Wilson down low without fouling, and this time she makes both at the stripe. It's a 4-point game again, under 2 minutes to go. Clark rejects the screen from Boston, manages to squeeze by Jackie Young, snakes her way inside and scores at the rim. It's a 2-point game. Plum misses the leaning jumper jumper, and with 90 seconds to go, Indiana can take the lead here. Caitlin Clark one-on-one with Aja Wilson, Rookie of the Year versus MVP. She lets fly from deep for the lead. Is this the moment? No! The deep three is just short. Massive missed opportunity there from Clark to not only take the lead, but make a massive statement in the MVP race. Aces can probably seal it here. Jackie Young collapses the defense, kicks it out to Plum in the corner, again wide open. She makes it, and the Aces go up by 5 with under a minute to go. Devastating shot. That might be the dagger, but it's not. The Fever won't give up, and Dantas, the hot hand all night, fakes the 3 and sinks the long 2 to make it a 1-possession game again. 30 seconds remain. Kelsey Plum can end it here once and for all. One-on-one with Mitchell. Plum off of Wilson's screen launches and misses. The Fever get the stop. Boston with a huge rebound. They get the timeout. Chance to talk it over. They can tie it with a 3. And with 2 of the WNBA's best shooters on the floor, they are more than capable of making this big shot. Game on the line. Who's it gonna be? Caitlin or Kelsey? Lexi inbounds to Boston. She gives it back to Lexi. Boston down screen to free up Kelsey, looking for a quick 2, she drives, Wilson steps in, Boston pops out to the corner, gets a look, a wide open 3 for the tie. Aliyah, Boston can't capitalize, and that's the game. Right, Fever finished the season 0-4 against the Aces, the only WNBA team they couldn't beat, and that was a real opportunity at home to upset the defending champions, but they failed to capitalize. Caitlin Clark had one of her worst halves of the season. She was scoreless at halftime, but completely turned it around in the second half, finished with 18 points, 8 rebounds and 9 assists, a near triple-double in what was a historic performance, breaking the all-time assist record, but she'll be disappointed not to win this game. If you guys have made it up to this point in the video and enjoyed, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to see breakdowns on every Indiana Fever WNBA game. The playoffs are coming soon, so stay tuned for that. And if you enjoyed this video, I bet you'll enjoy this video in the middle of your screen right now, where we talk about the Caitlin Clark effect, and not just how she's become the face of the WNBA, but how she's become the Michael Jordan of women's basketball and the face of basketball, point blank period, who's going to be the biggest name in the sport when LeBron, Curry and Durant retire. If you want to watch that, click the middle of your screen, and on that note, it's DKM signing out. Until next time, and peace.